All right, welcome back to episode number 613. Rabbi, you didn't even know that. 613, call-in show. We have no designated topic, so call in with your questions. Sit tight. We will be right back. As soon as I can click the daggum music key. There it is. Welcome to Tanakh Talk. I'm your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with another episode of TNT, the Twisted New Testament, with Rabbi Stuart, the man, Federow from the Big H, Houston, Texas. Welcome back, Rabbi. Welcome back, Don't Smoke Crack. That may be getting old to everybody else, but that does not get old to me at all. Okay.
Well, I prefer modern English rock and roll, but you know how that goes.
Oh, yeah, cool. Modern English. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time. Very cool. All right, so we do not have two things, a topic for tonight, and we also don't have a login yet, because that's one thing I forgot to do. I'm going to do that right now. I will say that this week has been very, very interesting, very, very busy for sure. Let's see if I can multitask here. I don't think I can, so hang on one second. I can on certain things. Hold on. Didn't accept my login. Hang on. Okay, there we go. Took it. I must have did a typo. Remind me later. Cool. We are officially logged in, and the phone lines are open. Open sesame. Very good. So, it's been very, very crazy busy, running into a lot of interesting conversations, interesting topics from people. Ironically, and I know I'm not going to mention any names, but I will tell you, I'm so utterly amazed at the audacity of people. I won't mention age or anything. Maybe I will, because that actually has a lot to do with it. Age and maturity.
Or lack both.
Yeah. Of the people that you and I run into and other rabbis run into on a regular basis who come out swinging with both arms, not necessarily a violent way, but just like so assured of themselves. And it's like, they'll come on to like Tanakh Talk, for example, and they'll start presenting things that they're absolutely so certain. Man, I cannot believe you guys can't see that Jesus is this and Jesus is that. They have never seen one single show of ours, not yours or mine or Rabbi Singer's or Rabbi Skobac, any of them, and they actually suppose that they know all this stuff.
By the way, I can't get you on Tanakh Talk.
Yeah, well,
YouTube.
You should be on YouTube. Actually, you know what? I'm actually live, and there's 4 watching, so you probably have to refresh your screen. Welcome to the show. Please
have.
Well, let's take this caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello.
Yes, you are live on the air.
Hi, Rabbi. My question is, why did God order the killing of Amalekite babies and children and infants? I mean, don't you think that is terrorism? Thank you.
Okay, that's a good question. It's
a great question.
Yeah. So, do we think it's terrorism, Rabbi? I'll let you go with this. I'll comment with you along the way. That's a great question, though. Yeah. So, is the killing of Amalek and all of genocide, is that terrorism? That's the question.
Yes.
It is terrorism.
No, that is the question.
Yeah. I was thinking, really? I didn't know that. I didn't see that coming. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. About a month and a half ago, we celebrated the events of the book of Esther. And it says that the bad guy in the book of Esther is a guy named Haman, boo hiss. Boo. Who was Haman?
Yeah, he was the one who tried to genocide the Jews.
Yes, but who was he? What do we know about him?
We know that he was the enemy of the Jewish people. We know he tried to have Mordecai.
That's what he did. What do we know about him himself?
Go on, because you're enticing me.
What we know is that he's a descendant of Amalek.
Right.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I thought we were just told by our caller that God commanded the Jews to kill off all the children and that therefore sounds a lot like terrorism or genocide or whatever.
Right.
Well, two issues here. One, it didn't happen, and two, it should have, and here's a great example. In other words, Saul was supposed to go in and finish off the Amalekites. He did not.
Right.
And because he did not, the descendants of Amalek, explicitly Haman, boo-hiss, were trying to kill all the Jews.
Right.
So it shows, first of all, that God was right, that the grudge or whatever you're going to have it, that is a vendetta in the Italian sense of the word, to take a grudge against a person, even to his, to their descendants. And the descendant of Amalekite tried to kill the descendant of the Jews, namely Mordecai in the book of Esther. And it shows that we didn't do what God told us, so they're not guilty of, in his words, terrorism.
Right.
But two, they should have, because it would have prevented the problem with the book of Esther.
Right. I mean, if you think about this, I've seen in my own life, and I've seen people.
Thank you, Bill. You got it right.
Descended from certain families. Bloodlines tend to follow their path that their family's on, and so and I've seen this with people in my own history, history repeating itself over and over and over again. And even now, like for example, 20 years ago, I could have cared less who my dad was. I could have cared less who my great-great-great-grandparents were. But now that I'm 40 plus, catch the plus part, I'm 40 plus years old, and now I'm like really, really wanting to know my heritage, and I want to fulfill what my heritage is. Well, that's kind of embedded into the DNA of every creature. So if your DNA was from Hitler, I don't care what your thoughts are, unless you have an interesting awakening, you're bound to repeat history. You know what I mean? And you're bound to follow in your family's bloodline in their footsteps.
It's also, if they bear a grudge, you learn their grudges, you learn their hate.
Right.
Did you happen to see the recent Muslim...
Caller, sit tight. We'll be right there.
Did you see the recent video taken at a Muslim school in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, United States of America?
When was this? I don't remember.
This is only the past few days.
Oh, no, I didn't.
In the video, these children, these young children, are reciting this litany against the Jews and Jerusalem and Israel, and we're going to kill them and send them to eternity in hell and all this other stuff in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
They teach their kids to hate and to become violent.
Right.
It's amazing. You should look it up, William. It's just amazing.
All right.
But it shows how the children learn the hatred from their parents, and God told them, for whatever God's reasons were, to get rid of them. They didn't, and it came to bite them in the tush.
Right.
Centuries later.
Okay. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, you are live on the air.
Okay, awesome. Yes, my name is Romeo, and I'm calling from Pleasanton, Texas.
Romeo, welcome.
I'm in Houston.
Yeah. Well, God bless. Yes, I just have a quick question. Is it like any question, or is there a certain subject? I'm sorry.
Any question you like.
Okay. It's about a year and a half ago, I started following. I was a Christian for 24 years, and then I started following the Noahide lifestyle because it just seemed like it made me feel more understanding. And as I was learning, my fiance started going with it. And being in a small little town like Pleasanton, there's not a lot of Jewish synagogues around us. So thankfully for shows like this, we can stay in contact. So I'm always trying to find answers. But something I was always wondering is that I believe in one of the first books, it talks about a man named Enoch and how so many people walked with God and died, but on Enoch, it never really said anything about him dying. It said he walked with God. And someone told me about the book of Enoch, and when I was reading it, out of curiosity, I started feeling weird feelings about this book, and I put it down, and I never read it again. So I was just wondering if you can explain, like, what exactly the Jewish view of, like, the Book of Enoch and a little more about that man.
Okay, very good. So let me start off by saying that Rabbi Singer and I have done a video. Actually, if you want to go ahead and hang up, you can, and you can actually tune in for your answer. Okay, thank you for calling in.
All right.
Okay, so Rabbi Singer and I did a show on maybe 2 shows, but for sure one. If you go to youtube.com, type in Tanakh Talk, and then space or comma or dash, and then put Book of Enoch, you'll probably find the video pretty quickly. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Rabbi, I would like for you to go ahead and take over at this point.
Well, just real quick, intertestamental literature, that means between the testaments, between the Hebrew scriptures and then the New Testament. There were literature that was produced, and the fancy term is pseudepigrapha, pseudo-epigraph, pseudo meaning fake, false, epigraph meaning authorship, sort of. And what that means is the following. The biblical text in the book of Genesis chapter 5, 21, and Enoch lived 65 years and begat Methuselah, and Enoch walked with God after he begat Methuselah 300 years and begat sons and daughters, and all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And then in chapter 5, verse 24, it says, and Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. It doesn't say Enoch died. It says he wasn't, and then God took him.
Right.
So because it doesn't say he died, even though he was not, for God took him, is euphemism for saying he died. But because this is a character where it never said, and Enoch died, then there was a kind of, legendary material that developed about Enoch.
Right.
So, look, if Stuart Federow writes a book, nobody's going to pay attention to it. But if I write a book and then say, Enoch wrote it, and Enoch had inside information on the truth about the cosmos because he walked with God and he didn't die, he was taken up by God, then people are going to sit up and want to read the book. That's why it's pseudo-epigraph, pseudepigrapha. It's because I can't say I wrote it, nobody will listen, but if I attribute it to someone who has an inside information on it, then people will take notice of the book. So you got all these books running around that are pseudepigraphic, meaning they attribute it to someone who was in the Bible and who might have inside information, so to speak, so that people will take a look at the book. But the problem is that the book has this very weird theology, very weird theology, philosophy, belief system, whatever. And it was obviously, written way after the books of the Tanakh were closed. Look, remember something. You had to have certain criteria for a book to be included in what we call the Bible.
Right.
To be included in the Tanakh. It had to be written in Hebrew. It had to be written about a time or before a time leading up to and maybe a little bit after the destruction of the first temple. It had to be theologically sound. Just because a book is old and, is attributed to a time or is written at a time before the destruction of the first temple, if it starts talking about how we should all worship Baal, it's not going to wind up in the Torah, in the Bible. So, and the Book of Enoch doesn't fit with any of these. I don't think it was written originally in Hebrew. I can't remember. The first paper I ever did undergraduate was on the Book of Enoch. A lot of the things it says is counter to Judaism, as it was then and as it is now. And it got rejected as pseudepigraphic, pseudepigrapha, pseudo-epigraph, fake authorship. And so basically everything in it is interesting, but it's not Judaism, and it doesn't reflect what Judaism believes.
Mm-hmm. Right.
In a nutshell, that's the answer.
Okay, very good. We're going to move on to the next caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hello?
Hello, you are live on the air. Kathy Daniels, how are you?
Hi, Kathy.
This is Kathy Daniels
Yes, we got
from
you.
Lebanon, Missouri.
Very good. Welcome.
Hi, Kathy.
Hi. Hi, Rabbi Stuart. Okay, my question is, okay, Rabbi Stuart, you know that the small town that I live in, there's no synagogues, period,
I know.
at all, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, I'm interested in converting to Judaism, okay? Because you know that I left to Christianity a long time ago.
Yes, I do.
And, okay, now how would I go about, being that I had no synagogue to go to, convert to Judaism?
Okay.
And
Unfortunately,
is it necessary for me to go?
wait, say it again?
Kathy, please repeat that last part.
Yeah, that's my question.
What is your question exactly?
The question is, what can she do about conversion?
Oh, okay, very good. Okay,
Okay.
Kathy, if you want to hang up, you can, and you can tune in for your answer, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you,
Nice
Kathy.
talking with you. Kathy, nice talking with you.
All right, there you go.
All right, well, okay. I don't know if she heard me say it, but Kathy, it was nice talking with you, even for a short time.
Very
Okay. Here's my advice, and it's not easy, and it's even more difficult because of her distance, and that is she has to find a community somewhere. She has to find a community that she can relate to. Okay? I have a very good friend who lives in the middle of nowhere in a state who is not well known for having any Jewish community. It does in the bigger cities. She doesn't live in the bigger cities. And what she does is she will go into the bigger city where they have synagogues, and she will spend basically Friday through Monday there. And it's not easy. Okay. She needs to make a friend in the congregation and find someone who will be willing to house her to decrease costs. But she goes in on a Friday and she attends services Friday night and Saturday morning if they happen to have Saturday morning services, because I don't know. It's not a large congregation. And there might be what's it called? Adult education class in Judaism Saturday night or even Sunday. There's certainly religious school where she can hang around and just meet people and talk to the rabbi and whatever. And then Sunday afternoon, I think there's I forgot what she told me, like a Hebrew class or another adult education class. But the point is, it's something that helps her learn more and more about Judaism. And she establishes relationships with members of that congregation or whatever congregation it is in that bigger city. And through the rabbi there at that congregation, she is converting to Judaism. And it's not easy. It's a royal pain. It is terrible because she has to commute. And I think she lives like an hour and a half from this bigger city that happens to have synagogues in it. And Kathy, I know it's difficult, but frankly speaking, I don't see how you can get around that. There are, in fact, rabbis who will, in fact, do conversion through telephone, okay, or through Skype, or, whatever they're called, Noom. There's a bunch of them like Skype, okay. But, conversion to Judaism is not just learning factual information about the Jewish people, about the Judaism, about Bible, about Jewish history, etc., theology, philosophy, prayer book. It's not just learning facts, okay? I know people who have a PhD in Judaism who are devout Christians, okay? I used to know someone who has a PhD in Judaism and is actually a Buddhist tantric monk, okay? Just because you have the factual information doesn't mean you're internalizing it and making it your own.
Right.
Where it's not me, them, where it's we. Where you're not thinking in terms of as an outsider, but you're part of the group, and that's what conversion is. It's not just learning facts. It's also adoption of the people as your own people, and depending on you and your personality, the people adopting you as part of them. And that can only come with community, and doing it by long distance. It can happen, but it's difficult, and it might take years to do. It might take years anyway, even if you live there. But my point is that living away from a larger Jewish community that has a multiplicity of synagogues to choose from limits your ability to convert, and it means you're going to have to go even further out of your way in order to do the conversion. I don't see any other way.
Right.
Okay. Also, one other thing I have to say is that in this day and age, there are fake rabbis and real rabbis, both, who make a living by being one page ahead of their students to convert them. They don't really know that much about Judaism, but they know more than most people, so they can make themselves look good. And you have to be very, 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 very careful about any rabbi that you are using for long-distance conversion.
Right.
Okay, what I call long-distance, conversion through telephone calls or Skype or what have you. You just have to be careful and make sure that this is legitimate, that they're not just getting their fingers into your pocketbook.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm not saying that some of them are bad. What I'm saying is that you just have to be careful. It's possible. You can do it. It's not easy. I think it's better for you, and I think it's better for the Jewish community if you do like this very good friend of mine does, go into a bigger town, get a, what's it called? Make a relationship with the rabbi, meet people. Hopefully they'll like you enough and it'll be compatible enough that they will want to house you for those weekends, which, is an obligation, big, huge obligation on their part. Go from there.
Very good. Good advice. Okay, so before we take this next caller, I want to complete some statements that I was making earlier before we took our first caller, and that was so there was this the couple of people, I'm not going to mention their names, and it just amazes me the audacity of these people. They're speaking so absolute about Christianity and their Christian doctrine, but they haven't got any insight whatsoever to the Hebrew language. And that was actually a confession of this one particular person. Doesn't even know Hebrew, but they know absolutely what the Hebrew scriptures actually say. And it's at first I was kind of like, I was very empathetic with them. I was, oh, no, I was but now it's getting so much of a mockery now that my patience is wearing very thin, because it's like the same people are just hammering back and forth trying to make you and I look stupid because of the things they're saying, but they're really making themselves look like they're the ones who are not prepared to handle the conversation. And it's really getting tiring. You know what I mean?
William, I know exactly what you mean, but you have to understand the psychological dynamics of what's going on. They're not trying to convince other people about the truthfulness of Christianity. They're not trying to convert other people to Christianity. They're trying to convince themselves of the truth of their own beliefs.
Right.
Or else they wouldn't be so, I don't know what it is, emotionally invested in what they're doing.
Right.
It's not that they are trying to make converts. They're trying to convince themselves that what they believe is still correct in the face of everything that people show them. And you know something? I said this before. I say this so often to people. It's a stalemate.
Yeah, right.
All you can say about my interpretation of a scripture is you don't agree with it. All I can say about your interpretation of a same scripture is I don't agree with yours. You're not going to convince me. I'm not going to convince you. I can show you other verses that contradict your interpretation, but you can accept them or not.
Right.
So,
well, I will tell you this. I saw a video today of these two people going back and forth. One was a Jew, and the other one was Christian Messianic, and it was really. I'm glad it wasn't me who was having the conversation, because it saved me a lot of energy. But I couldn't stop listening to the video. I was and no, I will not disclaim what the video is. Just understand that this is something that I'm hoping goes away, because it was so interesting to me, because I was like, the more this other person, this Messianic Christian, was talking, the more I realized they had no clue what they were talking about, because every single thing that they mentioned were things that was in the basic the very, very, very basics of Christianity, and that really had no insight to what Judaism teaches on Tanakh, what the prophets actually say, almost to the point where the person didn't even believe that Hebrew even mattered. It only mattered what the English said, and it kept quoting the New Testament over and over. I'm like, the New Testament has no bearing here unless you know what I'm saying. So it was just over and over a continuous. It was okay. So I'm going to try to put this in a real perspective. It was kind of like having. I won't say argument. I'll say having a discussion with a 4-year-old over a high school topic.
Yeah, that's the word.
Right, and so I'm trying to be polite, but that's really how ridiculous these arguments were. And I thought that the Jewish person representing the case of Judaism did a very good job and was very patient, very kind. I would probably have not been as kind, I think, not because I'm a mean person, but because I'm so really, really tired of dealing with people like this, if you know what I mean.
Me too.
So, okay, so Caller, welcome to the show. Thank you for your patience, and tell us your name, where you're calling from.
I'm Brock from New Jersey.
Brock, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. So my question to the rabbi is, I was reading the Tanakh and the Psalms. Hello?
Yes, you're live on the air. Go ahead.
I'm reading the Psalms, and Psalm 104 and verse 19. It says that the moon was appointed for seasons and the sun knows its entrance or its place of setting. So my question is, how does the sun know where to set? The sun doesn't set. The earth rotates and moves on its own axis. So the Hebrew word used here is mabaoth. So it means that entrance or setting. So even if it's metaphorical, if it's a word of God, how can this blunder be in the book? Thank you.
Okay, don't hang up yet. I'm not sure I understood your question.
I hope he didn't hang up because I have no idea what he asked.
Are you still with us?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
Psalm 104.
Yeah, could you rephrase that for us a little bit?
Okay, so it says that the Psalm 104:19 says that the moon was appointed for seasons. The moon was appointed for seasons. I don't know how moon affects the seasons. So that's the first part. And the second part of the verse goes like this. The sun knows its place to set. So the question is, how is moon related to season and how is the sun sets? The sun doesn't set. The earth moves on its own axis. The sun stays there. So the sun doesn't set. So how did this blunder be word of God? Yeah.
Okay, so
I think you're taking it way too literally.
Right, and I believe he is too. But that's really a legit question, though, and I think it would be a good way to. Right.
I think he's taking an English translation and taking the words in that one English translation as if they are verbatim, literal, exactly what the Hebrew says, right. I think you're taking that way too literally.
Right.
In other words, the moon doesn't do spring, summer, fall, and winter. Okay, but the moon does the months. So I don't think the word seasons is exactly accurate. I'd have to know exactly which biblical verse he's talking about.
Okay.
But the basic idea is, we set our calendar based on a lunar month. Okay, roughly four weeks out of the 4 weeks is the month.
Okay, let me read up Psalm 104:19. He appointed the moon for seasons, the sun to know.
Which one was that? Psalm what?
Psalm 104:19.
Okay. Okay, it doesn't say seasons. It says for Moedim, which means
appointed times, right?
Holy days.
Right.
Okay. Holidays, holy days, special times, special times, I guess, is how I would maybe translate that. And if you take a look at the Torah, when it's in Leviticus 23 to be exact, it says, in the 7th month, okay, it's going to be a Moedim, okay, in the 7th month, and how are months sensed? It's a lunar month.
Right.
So, am I clear?
I think so.
Okay. Again, I don't know what translation you're using, but it doesn't seem to be to me to be a good one. Okay. Let's see. Seasons. Let's see. Appointment, fixed time, specifically a festival, conventionally in a year, by implication an assembly, technically the congregation by extension, the place of meeting, okay, a feast day, a time, okay. All these are basically words used to help understand the word moed.
Right.
So season, I don't know where he gets that from, but good, that's okay. And when he's talking about the sun, I forgot I'm not sure where what was the other thing about the sun?
Psalm 104:19, he appointed the moon for the seasons, the sun to knoweth it's going down, that maketh darkness and it's...
Well, but clearly a sun doesn't know anything. A sun doesn't have a brain.
Right.
A sun doesn't have cognizance. A sun is a massive incandescent gas, is a gigantic nuclear furnace where hydrogen is built into helium at a temperature of millions of degrees. We had to memorize that in grade school. So the point is the sun doesn't know anything. This is flowery language. It's a psalm. It's a poem. It's poetic.
Right.
You know, again, I think he's taking this way too literally. So, yeah, at any rate, that's my answer.
Right. Good answer. Good answer, for sure.
I hope. Good or bad, it's my answer. I don't care what he believes. He can take it or leave it.
Right, that's funny. Okay, so carrying on. So the idea, first of all, just to moving forward onto what I was starting to talk about, and I'll probably keep hitting this in between calls. So for anybody, and I'm assuming that you may or may not agree. I'm assuming you probably will agree, but there's a possibility you won't. So for anybody who comes to you, who has like little to no perfunctory knowledge of Hebrew, and they want to come and tell you what the prophets actually said, what is your first response?
Wait, say it again?
So if somebody comes to you, a Christian or Messianic, and they have like little or no perfunctory knowledge whatsoever of Hebrew, and they want to tell you what the Hebrew prophets actually said, how do you respond to that?
William, you are talking to the wrong person, because I have no patience. This is why I don't get in debates, okay?
Right.
I do not suffer a fool lightly, as they say.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to waste my time, waste my energy. I don't care what they believe. I don't care what they do. I don't care what they say. I don't care, especially if they quote from their Christian New Testament. It's not biblical. It's not holy. It's not from God.
Right.
It doesn't matter to me what they say. They think, they do, whatever. Right. Okay? If they want to have their belief, go right ahead. But, and if they start telling me, okay, about what the Bible actually means, okay, I get very tired very quickly. I don't have the energy I don't have the time to spend on people like that.
Right.
They're not worth my time.
Right.
Okay, I don't know how to be any more clear.
One thing that I heard today on this video, it was probably one of the best things that I've heard in a long time, and it's something that I'm gonna be using for sure myself in future dialogues with people like the person we're speaking of, is that the prophets, because I have a lot of Christian friends, and they will all say, well, the prophets so and so, Jeremiah, Isaiah, blah blah blah, they said this, this, and this. But what they don't understand is there's not a prophet of God anywhere that would ever prophesy anything that would violate Torah. They're there because the people are denying or rejecting or violating Torah. They're actually there to get them back in line with Torah. So if you say a prophet comes and says, this man God's going to come and die for your sins, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's a violation of Torah. That prophet you cannot listen to. You have to only listen to people who actually will support Torah, Deuteronomy 13:1-5. So carrying on. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hi, Rabbi. This is Nicholas Jacobowski. I'm calling from Carmel Valley, California.
Hey, welcome back.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Hey, how you doing?
Thank God.
Yeah, so I'm wondering. So I thought I might be Jewish because I have a Hebrew and Polish last name. And so I was really into it, and I was, studying Torah and everything. And now I kind of am just okay with where I'm at. And I'm wondering, where do I go from here, though, since I'm not Jewish according to the
Why don't you
ancestry
convert? Why don't you latch on to your ancestors' religion and with hoops of steel and make it your own?
Yeah.
What's your hesitation in conversion?
It's just going to temple all the time and trying to be observant, and
that's what we all do.
But okay, let me chime. I'm going to chime in with you here. Okay, so for me, people have asked me for the past 5 years, William, are you going to convert? William, did you convert? William, are you planning on converting? William, are you not going to convert? And we're at the point right now, my wife and I, is we're probably not going to convert. We're going to stay B'nai Noach for a handful of reasons. And so, but the point being is, there is no need for a person to convert to Judaism to have a right relationship with the Creator. You know what I mean? So now, if you are Jewish by blood, then you need to move forward in that direction, because that's God put you there for a reason, right? But if you're not Jewish and you're pondering conversion, think on it well. Think about the pros and cons and just follow whatever. There's no need to convert to Judaism to become right with God. It's not necessary. In fact, if you have question about it, if you don't think you can, and then you convert, now you're a sinner because you're doing things wrong that wasn't considered wrong to you before. You see what I'm saying? So with that said, so do you think that you may have Jewish blood because of your name and stuff, and you found out that
because of the name? Well, I did an ancestry, and I don't have any on my mother's side. So
okay.
I'm not Jewish.
But first of all, wait a minute. Let's back up a step.
Yeah.
Let's say that your genetic code showed that there was a lot of Jews on your mother's side.
Yeah.
Okay, that would not make you a Jew.
Right.
That only tells us about your ancestors. It doesn't tell us about you.
Right.
And I don't know of any rabbi right now who will say, "Oh, here's your family tree DNA.com report that says your mother's was Jewish. Would you like an aliyah to the Torah tomorrow?"
Right.
Okay, you still have to go through conversion, and they may have different names for it. They may call it Gerut L'Chumra. I don't even want to go into explanation. The point is that what they're going to demand of you is basically a conversion to seal the deal, to stop anybody from saying anything different. Okay, and that's not the issue. The issue isn't we're not a race. If we were a race, you couldn't convert to become a Jew. A Jew who converts to another religion is no longer a Jew. Okay, if a person who is Asian becomes a Jew, he is now a Jew, but he's still Asian. Okay, I cannot convert to become black. A person who's black who converts to Judaism is still black, but he's also a Jew. Okay, it's not a race. You don't get designated a Jew because of an ancestor in your DNA. Okay, you get designated a Jew because it's you've been naturalized as a Jewish citizen. I'm sorry, as a citizen of the Jewish people, the Jewish nation. God said to Abraham, "I will make you a great nation," not a great race, not a great genetic code, not a great culture, not a great ethnic group. And all nations have their laws of naturalization, and the naturalization process to become a citizen of the Jewish nation. I'm not talking the state of Israel. I'm talking the peoplehood. Okay, that naturalization process is called conversion to the religion of Judaism.
So I think that Nicholas, you still there? No. Okay, so I did an answer. Well, I'm playing around with this caller ID thing. We finally figured out how to get Ring Central caller ID, and there was an option that said answer and hold when somebody called in. So I clicked that, and then it actually hung up on Nicholas and answered the next caller. So we have a caller on hold. So finish answering his question, and then we'll go ahead and take the caller. Caller, sit tight.
I just don't want him and William. I got news for you. I don't want you either.
Okay.
to eliminate the possibility down the road of conversion to Judaism.
Oh yeah, I don't shut that out at all.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
not shutting
And
it
I
off.
don't want Nicholas to either.
Right.
Okay, I don't want. Look, I believe that being Jewish brings benefit to the person who does Judaism. Okay, I think that if a person keeps kosher, keeps Shabbat, keeps the mitzvot, okay, it not only is good for the Jewish nation, it's not only good for the world, it's also good for the person who does it. I want what's good for you. I want you to obtain benefit from doing Judaism, from being a Jew, and therefore doing Judaism.
Right.
I want you to have what I have because of the benefits that accrue from a person who takes the religion seriously. Okay.
Right.
I'll leave it at that.
Angela Luna, I see your message. I'm going to throw that in here in just a second here. Let's see. Okay, so all right, very good. So let me scroll back up. In fact, if you see it before I do, go ahead and answer it.
What does the rabbi think about Philo's influences on Colossians 1, chapter 1, verses 15 to 17? Angel, I have no idea. Okay? I haven't studied Philo in I don't know how long, and the Philo influences on Colossians, whatever. Okay, I have no way to know or answer that. Sorry.
Okay.
Out of my ability.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now, and I'm going to block this one particular person because he went from proselytizing to now he's advertising his own page, and I don't really care to see that on my channel. So I'm going to hide this user on this channel from now on. I've been very patient. Now he can still watch. He can still watch, but he can't comment anymore. Okay, so the thing about it is he was saying, well, come see my page, come see my channel, you'll see the real truth. I'm thinking, guy, are you seriously that?
He's trying to convince himself.
Oh my God!
Don't you understand this? Wow. This is basic psychology 101. He's probably a social derelict. Okay, he probably has very few friends. Yeah. This is the only way he can make a name for himself and self-aggrandize and say, I'm a great guy. I'm a really good arguer. I'm a debater.
Right.
Okay, and he doesn't listen to anybody else.
I have never, honestly, he's the first person that I've ever heard go at it like he does who knows as little as he does. Most people that actually do debating people
because
like this,
he's trying to convert himself.
Lot more educated than this person is.
I told you that this person came to my private, personal,
thank you, Michelle,
Facebook page, okay, and I was advertising my congregation's fundraiser, and under the Facebook page, post advertising my congregation fundraiser, he starts arguing with me about Christianity. Totally inappropriate.
Right.
He's a social derelict. He doesn't know how to deal with people or relate to them. And the only thing he can do is copy paste from Messianic Misquote of the Month magazines and think he's done a fabulous job. I don't have time for that. I don't have energy for that. Whatever he wants to believe, go ahead. Do what you want to. Go ahead.
Larry Beck just mentioned. Thank you, Larry, and thank you, Michelle. I said he's a student at Master's College under John MacArthur. Interesting. But he knows no Hebrew whatsoever. And I'm thinking, how can you argue that the Hebrew is wrong if you don't even know what the Hebrew says? Okay, moving on. Let's take this next caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
And thanks for waiting.
Hello, Rabbi.
Hi.
Hi. Yeah. My question is.
Okay, this is by the way, this is our same guy you've called. You've had a few. Hey, that's okay though. Bring your questions. They're actually good questions. I'm cool with that. Go for it.
Yeah. So actually, I heard like many rabbis say Hebrew is a sacred language. So the thing is, why did Abraham's ancestors, who were pagans, get the privilege of preserving Hebrew language, even though they were pagans? I mean, Abraham's father was a pagan. So what did he do?
Yeah, but Abraham himself
the
wasn't.
Hebrew language?
Rabbi, go ahead. Stay on the phone. Stay on the phone.
Yeah,
Rabbi,
stay on the phone. Abraham himself was not a pagan. He is the one who came to know God.
I know, but his father spoke Hebrew. So why did his father?
But you're blaming the son for the father?
Language?
First of all,
No,
in
no, no,
that
I'm
period, in that day and age, okay, Hebrew was spoken by a whole lot of people. Okay, it might have been a proto-Hebrew. I don't know if it's necessarily the biblical Hebrew. I don't think they walked around speaking the biblical Hebrew. Okay, but, and as a matter of fact, there's a whole history of the Hebrew language in the written form. Okay, but it was probably some Semitic language. It was probably a proto-Hebrew. Okay, but you're the one telling me that we believe Hebrew is the holy language. Okay, and I will say it's holy, but it's holy because it's a special. What does holy mean? What does the word holy mean? It means special, different, set apart, distinct. And we say it's special, set apart, distinct because of the language of the Bible. And there are plenty of people in the Bible. Okay, Noah was not a Jew, but couldn't you say the same thing about him, that he was speaking Hebrew? Wouldn't you say the same thing about Adam and Eve, back and forth between God and Adam and Eve, that they were speaking to each other in Hebrew? They weren't Jews.
Right on, right. Okay, so
I think you have a very eager approach to attack Judaism, okay, and to show it in a bad light. But I don't really think you're thinking about what you're saying as you're making the statements.
Here's what I think. Okay, so basically I did another answer and hold, so we've got a new color. But I think that this person could be Muslim, maybe really questioning things. Maybe he's heard some things about Judaism and is starting to learn and is rebelling against it, wanting to attack it. But then I think there might be some connections that we're saying that might actually be registering with him. Maybe not. Maybe so. Who knows? There's still good questions either way, and they're actually really good questions to bring to light. And I'm glad you answered those questions. So if you want, we'll move on to this next caller.
That's how I would answer. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, very good. Let's take this next caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, this is Nicholas again. I just want to say,
hey man, I'm sorry for disconnecting on you, bro.
Thank you for the show.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry.
I want to say thank you to the show because even though I don't know if I'll ever convert to Judaism or if it's possible, I do want to say I am kind of getting closer to my roots, and I'm trying to learn about, my family heritage in Poland and Ireland and stuff like that.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Well, you are very welcome, and I hope you heard my comments when we accidentally hung up on you. Okay. But I think there's a world of reasons to convert fully to Judaism, and I hope you will.
Yeah, I think so too.
Good. I hope you don't completely cut yourself off from the idea that somewhere down the road you might. You never say never is what I'm saying.
Never say never, yeah, for sure.
There you go. That's awesome.
All right, thank you, Mr. Hall.
Hey, you're very welcome, man. Thanks for calling in. Really appreciate your questions.
Yeah, and thanks for listening and being on chat.
Very good. Okay, caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name. Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Caller, you are live on the air. Oh, they just hung up. That's okay, though. All right, so we'll just wait for the next caller to come in. So
there's no one on because somebody I thought beeped in.
Actually, they did, but they just disconnected all of a sudden. No problem. That's okay. I'm keeping an eye on it. So, my wife just brought me some gluten-free chocolate chip cookies.
Okay, JAR asked the question. Not knowing Hebrew, I need a good and correct Hebrew-English interlinear Bible. Could you and Rabbi give some suggestions? Thanks. JAR, there is no interlinear Bible that I would suggest, and here's why. What publishing companies do to have an interlinear Bible is that they take an already existing translation and then print it underneath the Hebrew and then try to make a relationship between the word from the translation they've chosen and the Hebrew word that they claim it comes from. That's not taking the Hebrew word in the verse, in the context in which it is found, parsing it out, showing what kind of, how in terms of grammar it's supposed to be understood to understand why it's translated the way it's translated. They're just taking, I can do that with the King James, where I'm taking the King James translation, which every Christian publisher says is not a good translation.
Okay.
And then put it underneath the Hebrew and try to show a relationship there. when it's not a good translation.
Okay, so I'm going to resonate with who asked the question? Who was it? JR? Okay, so JR,
yes.
here's the deal. So basically, I could side with Rabbi in saying, which car is the best car to drive for our atmosphere? None of them are, because they all emit emissions and is killing our atmosphere. However, if you're going to buy a car, there is a better than a worse one. Now that's the question that would be good for you.
But I would never do an interlinear. I just get a translation.
Well, I will tell you this. We actually have, in fact, I just asked my wife to go get a copy of it. We actually bought a Stone Edition interlinear Chumash.
Wait, Stone has an interlinear?
Oh, yeah, and it's actually nice because it's actually got really large Hebrew letters. It's got the vowels. It's got the words gathered underneath.
Wait. Stone
Edition.
The Stone Bible has
Scroll.
an interlinear publication.
Yes, they do. Art Scroll.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
I want you to show me a picture.
Actually, I'm going to put it on screen here. Just that my wife just went into the house to grab a copy of it. It's really nice because it actually has it being interlinear, of course, under each, like where it says by the bear, right there it says and spoke. It doesn't actually have the like right page, left page, just like gatherings underneath each individual spot. Here, oh my gosh, I only wanted one. She brought the whole 5-volume set. Okay, let me see it. Now that you got it here. Okay, so this is the 5-volume set. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the 5-volume set. I'll be very still. Let me get it closer. Okay. Can you see it?
Put the side of it back up.
Oh, here
okay, put the side back up.
All right, 1 second.
William, no, the other side. The side, not the where you pull the books out of the box from, but the side of the box. There we go. Keep up.
Rabbi,
a little bit more.
Have to remember,
there we go.
You have to remember you're on a 20-second lag. I've been sitting in the same position for a while now.
Okay, cool. I'm amazed. Okay,
cool. Now,
glad to know.
Let me pull
I'm not necessarily saying that they did something different. They probably still, in fact, took their already existing Stone edition and then just made an interlinear version.
Whoa.
Take the book out and show me the page. Thank you. Just anywhere. Yeah.
See how that? Whoops! Sorry, page slipped. Hang on. Whoa! Got to get my thing out of the glass of milk there.
That's fine. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting.
So it's very nice. It even has a Rashi's commentary as well.
Yeah, I see that.
This is we paid $160, $115. Oh, we actually bought it on sale. They're actually regular like $150, $160 for the 5-volume book set. Art Scroll. Let me if I get the light in here and get it out of the way so we can see. Sorry, I got a lot of lights down tonight because it's late. Anyway, that's it right there. So, So with that said, JR, I strongly recommend it. It's a really amazing set, especially if you're learning Hebrew. So, again, there's really no good translation. But if you're going to get one, this is a really nice set. Just saying. Thank you, dear. Here you go. Golly. Arr. Get a back brace. Just kidding.
Yeah, really.
All right, cool. Okay, so we got 5 minutes before the hour. But doesn't mean we have to stop right on the money. But okay, she just brought me gluten. Did I mention that she brought me gluten-free chocolate chip cookies? She's just trying. We're not gluten-free, but we've had people asking because they know she cooks. Who actually is? She's using me as a guinea pig. Basically, she wants to know if these taste good. So very good.
Okay, Alex Wright asked the question: can you ask the rabbi the simplest translation of Aleph Resh? I don't know.
Aleph Resh.
Or?
Well,
no, or is with an ayin, not an aleph. I'm not. I don't know.
What are you reading?
I'm reading on the chat. He's asking a question about Aleph Resh.
Who?
But that's only 2 letters. Not all, but most Hebrew words have a 3-letter root. Some have a 2-letter, some have a 4-letter, but most of them are 3-letter. And I'm not quite sure the root. What he's looking for, Aleph Resh. Or no?
Who's
the
comment?
Said that.
Who commented?
Alex Wright.
Alex Wright. Is it fresh or is it way back?
It's not that far back. No, it's just, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Let's see, Alex Wright. I'm looking for it. I want to see it here. Hang on a second. Oh, there it is right there. Can you ask Rabbi a simple translation of Aleph Resh? Oh, he just wants to know, is Aleph Resh, is that even a word?
Well, that's just it. It might be, but I don't know the context. I don't know what he's referring to.
Right.
Aleph Resh could be.
Alex, do me a favor. Give us some more information. Where did you see that at? What verse did you see it on a piece of paper?
And is there something that goes with it? Okay, I mean, like the word. Well, it's not an olive; it's an iron. But ori is my light, or orech is your light.
That's still
Orcha,
iron. That's still
you
iron.
know what I'm saying? So I don't know what the
Aleph Resh though.
Right. Unless he's thinking Aryeh, which would be lion.
Oh, like Ka'ari. Oh, yeah. Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
No, he didn't say Kari.
No,
he said
I'm saying
Aleph Resh.
Well, lion would be Ari. Or Ari.
Or Aryeh, yeah.
Right. So Ka'ari would be as a lion. Okay, so Son of David says, would you guys have a problem with Jesus being the king of Israel?
He's not the king of anything because he doesn't have the lineage. Okay, it says in Numbers chapter 1 and a couple of places, just in the first few verses, that lineage is traced to the father. To be part of the tribe of Judah, you have to have a human father who traces his lineage back to the tribe of Judah. And Jesus' father is God. Okay, and Christians will say, oh, well, his mother was from the tribe of Judah. Well, first of all, the New Testament says otherwise, because Mary was a kinswoman of Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist, who was a Levite. But even in the gospel that's supposedly the lineage of Mary, okay, in Luke 3, the lineage supposedly through Mary, which it's not, but even if you said it was, goes down to not Solomon, but rather Nathan, the half-brother of Solomon. But the biblical text says that all kings must be through Solomon, not through Nathan, the half-brother of Solomon.
Right.
So the Luke genealogy, whether you said it was Mary or Joseph, gets thrown out. Okay, and Matthew certainly makes it look like it's only about Joseph, who wasn't the biological father. So he can't be the king of anything. I hope that answered his question.
Yeah, well, it answered mine.
Okay.
Okay, so we're getting so many questions that are just flooding the inboxes here.
JewishHistory.org. Thank you, Mitzvos Golem.
Okay, so
I was looking for a good history area.
All right, so let's take this next caller. Caller, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name, where you're calling from.
Hey, this is Alex Wright, and you guys were asking or answering the question about the Aleph Resh.
Yeah. What was your context with that? Could you clarify for us, please, Alex?
So I've been taking your guys' advice and trying to learn the Hebrew, and I've been coming up against this word in a bunch of ways, and I'm just wondering, is that even a meaning? I know Aleph Vav Resh is actually like light, and we know Ayin Vav Resh is skin. So I'm trying to find out.
Yeah, I got the two mixed up.
If there's
right.
like a so is Aleph Resh itself, does that have a stem to light itself, the or with the Vav? Or is it no connection at all to light?
But look, can you give me a verse so I can just look it up real quick? Any verse that has the word in it? Here, let me see. Let me see if I can go backtrack it. Okay, what they used to call reverse engineer, Light. So let's see. Oh, Genesis, obviously. Well, that's obvious, Stuart. Couldn't even. That's funny. Okay. And Hebrew, and yeah. Okay, that's with an olive. Now let's go back to this. And where'd you go? Light. And so. I'm pretty sure Aleph Vav Resh is the root, not Aleph Resh, but Aleph Vav Resh. I'd have to look that up better. And my books, of course, are not here in my house; they're in my synagogue's office.
The things that why I'm stumbling on that is I find that directly next to Aleph Tes, which is S, or
Well, Aleph,
yes, exactly. So
you say Aleph Tet or Aleph Tav?
Aleph Tet, so our Tav, the last letter.
So all that is that's just pointing to the direct object, or like declaring a direct object. It's not.
You don't translate it, and if you did translate it, it would make things kind of funny. Okay, the word et indicates that the following word is the direct object of the verb by the subject.
I see. Oh.
Okay. So yeah, Aleph
you.
Tav has no translation to it. It's the indicator that the following word or even phrase is the direct object of the action of the verb by the subject. So
I see.
I
really appreciate. I get where you're going, and I really appreciate it. That literally helped me so much.
Very cool.
I literally appreciate it. You don't even know. So thank you guys so much.
Hey,
have a great show, and I will continue on my quest.
Perfect.
I love you guys. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Hey, any way we can help, or any way we can help confuse you even more.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, phone lines are going to be closed, mainly because I've got.
Well, you're no fun. We just got started.
Know. You know, this is has quickly become one of the. Sorry, guys, phone lines closed.
Oh, you are just.
Man, come on! I can't even log out. The phone lines are just going like blowing up tonight. Good Lord!
Well, that's because we're answering what they're interested in instead of boring them with what we're interested in.
But that means next week you guys tune in again and tell your friends, share the videos, like them, subscribe them. And if you really like what's going on, hey guys, I could use a lot of help here. I know I'm beating Rabbi to the punch. He usually like rats on me, but things are adding up like really, really heavily here. It's a big bite to chew. It's all working out.
Yeah, that means
Hashem's
donate. Let's talk money. He's talking money. He's not saying it, but he's talking money. So reach into your pocketbooks and donate, and try to commit to doing it every month, so William has something he can rely on.
It's definitely very helpful. And I tell you what, there's handfuls of people out there who've already jumped on board. And I tell you what, I could not do it without you. If I had this whole thing to do on my own, I would still try to make it happen, but it would be very, very difficult because we have a single income family and we're homeschooling, and it's like, you know, that's what you do. You know, spend half the time here, half the time working. That means you got half a paycheck. So anyway, hey, thank you guys. Great show. Great questions, man. And I really love the people on Tanakh Talk on the chat, because you guys are actually, you're intermixing. You're by the way, I just found out that there's been some secret monkeys floating around in there that some people spotted. We was able to deal with that. Thank you very much. There's just a lot of really good activity, a lot of great questions. I really appreciate all y'all's activity for sure. So tune in next week. I think from now on, I think for a while we should just go ahead and kind of follow the profile we've been doing tonight and last week, and just have like open phone lines for a while. If we get some questions in that are just dynamic, full topic questions, then we'll kind of feed them in, and we'll close the phone lines if it's something that we think might require a full hour or so to do. Otherwise, we'll just keep the phone lines open and see how it goes. This was a great thing. Somebody just, Mrs. Scalim just mentioned flat Earth. That's still got me blown. Anyway, make a long story short, thank you guys. You guys rock and roll, man. Love you guys, and we'll see you guys same time, same place next week, Hashem willing. Rabbi, you are my rock star. Thank you for hanging out with me. We had a great time.
We have fun. That's what we do.
Finger dance. Come on, give it up. Give it up. Ooh. No, that's the head dance. There it is right there. The infamous finger dance. Shalom, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.
אני אתה אתם תמיד תמיד כולם ביחד חשוב מכל חשוב והכרחי להיות ביחד איפוק זו העוצמה ויתור זו הגדולה השאיפה והכמיהה אני אתה אתם תמיד תמיד כולם ביחד חשוב מכל חשוב והכרחי להיות ביחד איפוק